If you are tired of using paper patterns, you want to keep better track of your stitching, or you just want to make stitching more fun and easy, then I have the perfect app for you guys. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, X Stitch and Chill. I'm Kelsey and this channel is all about cross stitch. Today I'm bringing you guys a FlossTube Extra all about one of my favorite stitchy tools, and that is the app Markup R-XP. You've probably heard of Pattern Keeper, but Markup R-XP is a iOS alternative to Pattern Keeper. I think Pattern Keeper only works on Android devices. So if you are a Mac user like I am, then this is the perfect alternative to Pattern Keeper. If you haven't heard of Markup R-XP or Pattern Keeper, it is basically just an electronic version of a pattern keeping app. So you can mark off stitches, you can mark where you've parked threads, you can see how many stitches you do in a day, what percentage of your project you're done with. It will even tell you how many stitches per day you have to do to be done by a certain date. And it's amazing. I cannot stitch without this app anymore. A quick disclaimer before we get into this quick walkthrough of the app. I am not sponsored by R-XP. They are not paying me to tell you guys about this. I just absolutely love this app and I wanted to share it with you guys because a lot of Mac users don't realize that there is an option out there for them. So without further ado, I am going to pop over to my overhead camera so I can give you a quick walkthrough. This is not a tutorial on how to use the app. Markup R-XP has their own YouTube channel with tons of tutorials that are super helpful, and I'll put that link down below. So this is the home page of the Markup R-XP. This is my doing category. So there's like categories up here you can file your projects in. So this is my doing category. I also have done, and then I have kitted, which kitted ones are ones that I have, but not necessarily kitted. They're just in the app. So the easiest way to get a pattern in here is through a PDF pattern, which is what most patterns are when you download them. So I have several in here, but there is a little plus button right here, and then you say PDF and image files, and you can pick one from here. I have them saved in my files on my iPad, so it's easy to find them. I'm not going to go over how to put a pattern in. That's something that you can find on their YouTube page, but I did want to show you some of the features. So I'm going to pop into my Heart of the Summer, and we are just going to show a little portion of this pattern. So when you come into one of these, the grid is the pink grid and it's usually already set. You can adjust it if you need to. Sometimes it's a little off, but for the most part, it does a pretty good job. It also automatically recognizes your symbols in here, and then those symbols, it will pull the colors from the key here and match them up with the DMC color, which is super handy because then you can just pop up here and it pulls up your DMC color, the symbol, and what color it is on the chart, how many stitches there are to do, and how many stitches are done. That is really nice because you can have it highlight certain symbols. So right now it is highlighting this red one, which I've done. You can see up here it says 0 stitches. Out of 195. So I finished those stitches, but if I was going to move on to these green ones, I would just like click up here and I would find that symbol, and here it is. And I can also see I have 62 stitches. And then there's this pan and zoom, which is what you want to use for when you're moving it. And then there's the markup button, and that is what you use to mark your stitches. So now see, it says 56 stitches. I haven't done those stitches though, so you just tap them again to unmark them. But that is super nice. This is one of my favorite features, is getting the symbols highlighted, especially when you are in a chart like my Deathly Hallows chart, because it is a black and white pattern. And so highlighting the symbols is like essential. That is the only way I can stitch this kind of pattern. Because it's black and white, I prefer the color squares, but this is like crazy, and I love this feature that I can just go in and highlight the stitches that I want to do. So you can see in here that some of these are marked with a P. That means that they are a parked thread. I don't do a ton of thread parking, but you can see in here that you can make like a little triangle to show what square it is. And so that's really nice if you like to park threads. And as you can see, I can like zoom in and zoom out on my pattern, which is really nice. Sometimes I wish I could zoom in and zoom out on my fabric, but that is not possible. And it's nice for when you're like feeling tired and you don't want to count too much. You can just zoom in a little bit. So you can do multi-page patterns in here. You can see down here it has the numbers, so you can either just go to the next one, or you can click on the numbers and it will show you the pages. It's kind of nice because it also will show you like what percentage of that page is done. So you don't have to do the highlighted squares and you don't have to mark them off in the color. Sometimes it's a little hard to see the color. So you can go in here and you can like change what color it will mark up in. So you can change it to anything you want just by clicking on it. It has all of the DMC colors, but you can also just pick like a basic color. Like my mom has a hard time recognizing that these have been marked off or these have been marked off because it's the same color. So she'll do hers in like a bright pink or something like that. So you also have that option. And then down here you have like the markup, which is this page, and then you have the key page, so you can see your key if you need to. A picture page, which shows you what it will look like when it's finished. And then there's an info page, and this is like the coolest thing ever. So I love statistics and I love seeing things like this. So this is a really fun way to keep track of your stitching and see how you're doing. I've not stitched today, but this will show you how many stitches you have marked, how many you still have to do, and how many total stitches there are. And then if you have any park stitches, what percentage you are completed, and time. I would not trust the time entirely because sometimes I will stitch for a really long time and it will only say I stitched for half an hour. I'm not really sure how the timing works, but it's not like the best. So then it will give you your today's stats. So it will show you how many you've stitched today and how much time you've spent stitching today. Like I said, this time is, then it has this other information, which is kind of cool because it will say like, okay, if I do 253 stitches, an average time of 1 hour and 8 minutes every day, I can finish in 15 days and my completion date will be August 17th. And then it shows you how many days you've been stitching on it, which I feel like is maybe a little more accurate for a timing perspective. But it also shows you when you started, so it's easy to remember, oh yeah, when did I start this project? Oh yeah, I started it on this day because that's when I started marking off stitches. But this is really cool. I love this. But then it also has another little setting where you can see like your history. So yesterday, it says I had 98 stitches done, which is pretty much accurate. I didn't do a ton on this one. I switched to a different project afterwards, but you can go back in July. So if you follow me on Instagram, I do like a stitchy stats kind of thing. And I tried to do it every month, but it's not always done every month. But I use this to figure out how many days I've stitched and how many stitches I've done. So this will tell me in July, I did 2,284 stitches and I spent 10 hours and 32 minutes, which who knows if that's accurate, but you can always go back into like June and everything. So this will show you like when you created the project. So I put this, the 1st of June is when I put it in Pattern Keeper, but then when I started marking it up, it was the 7th of June. And then there's a notes section, which I've never used, so I don't know if you need that. But I love the stats and I love the highlighting of the stitch I'm working on. It really helps with like full coverage, trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, especially in a black and white chart because I can't do the black and white charts. So hopefully that gives you an insight into what this app does and some of the features. 2 of my favorite features are highlighting the symbol that I am stitching and all the statistics. I love statistics. I love to see like how many stitches I did and all those things. So it's really fun to look back on that kind of stuff. It also makes things so much easier, especially if you're working with a large project or a project with a lot of confetti. I have one that I UFO'd because it had so much confetti and doing it on the paper pattern was just impossible. So I'm looking forward to possibly pulling it back out and working with the app to make it a little easier. I hope you guys enjoyed this FlossTube Extra. I am planning on doing some more of these. I have my own list of stuff, but if you guys have any requests, please leave it in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this or get some updates on my whips in my regular FlossTube videos, then hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. All those things help me grow my channel and helps me get more information out to everybody in the stitching world. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!